Citizens Minutes 36th edition. My name is Robert Wilkins. It is an extraordinary afternoon on the plains of Auburn, with a canopy of various shades of green leaves. 3 citizens spoke at the Open Citizens Forum. First citizen said, quote, "The truth is clear. Both the old mayor council systems and today's council manager system leaves ordinary citizens with only weak, indirect control." Second citizen said, "The conclusion is straightforward. If the signed ordinance violates the Constitution, then using the same argument and logic, so is Ordinance 3288, short-term rentals. It is time to officially nullify that ordinance." The last citizen stated that she wanted to publicly put it on record to express her disappointment from the Lee County NAACP for Police Chief Michael Harris not attending their all-important town hall discussion.
On numerous occasions in the last 5 years, I've stood before this council and spoken about the need for training on the Constitution. At your last meeting, that need was again noted. While discussing the sign ordinance, the city manager explained that the U.S. Supreme Court protects the First Amendment and stated clearly, the city may not regulate signs on private property. Councilman Adams asked for clarification and confirmed the sign ordinance is unconstitutional and therefore impotent and unenforceable on private property. During that same discussion, Councilman Dawson again asked whether the signs in the mayor's yard were constitutional. So, Mr. Dawson, where was that concern when my constitutional rights were voted away with Ordinance 3288? Where was that concern when you voted to regulate what happens inside my house and on my private property? You and the STR5 voted for the city to implement software that monitors people's properties and their activities, violating fundamental property rights. You 5 voted to draw arbitrary lines where similarly situated neighbors are treated differently under the law. This is not equal treatment and raises serious constitutional concerns, including discrimination. And once again, as expected, Mr. Dawson, you dismiss citizens' comments as petty for questioning the sign ordinance. You and the STR5, Taylor, Griswold, Anders, Parsons, and Dawson continue to refuse to protect the rights of Auburn citizens. After hearing the city manager's explanation, one thing is clear. The U.S. Constitution supersedes any ordinance this body chooses to pass. You have acknowledged that when an ordinance conflicts with the Constitution, the ordinance cannot stand and is unenforceable. That's important because the same reasoning applied to the sign ordinance applies directly to Ordinance 3288. At the last meeting during the sign ordinance discussion, some contradicted their own positions, exposed inconsistencies, and made my arguments for me. Those of us whose rights were trampled on by the STR5 are still waiting for you to respect the Constitution and apply those standards consistently. You now have an opportunity, no, actually obligation, to correct 2 ordinances that were never properly vetted for constitutionality by this council, your staff, or your city's legal advisors. Auburn citizens deserve to be able to trust their elected officials and management. The conclusion is straightforward. If the signed ordinance violates the Constitution and is unenforceable, then using the same arguments and logic, so is 3288. It's time to officially nullify Ordinance 3288.
Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, Council. Then and now. For 45 years, Auburn has operated under a council manager system, promoted as a better way to govern. Instead, it has quickly eroded real citizens' control. Before 1980, under the mayor-council system, we directly elected a strong mayor with clear executive power. In theory, accountability was straightforward. In reality, it was dysfunctional, endless political infighting, administrative chaos, and a weak council-left government, paralyzed. Citizens could vote, but our votes rarely produced meaningful change. Public frustration reached a breaking point. So in 1980, voters approved the switch, hoping for professional management and stability. What we got was something very different. Today, an unelected city manager controls the budget, departments hiring and firing, and nearly every day-to-day decision. The mayor's role is largely ceremonial. and our elected city council has gradually surrendered its authority. In these 45 years, Auburn has had only 3 mayors. Meanwhile, the city operates through 22 appointed boards and 1 commission, none directly elected by the voters. These unelected bodies shut out many talented community members who want to serve but never get the chance to be chosen by the people. This system delivers growth and efficiency alongside Auburn's university expansion, but the cost has been high. Citizens no longer have a directly elected executive where we can hold fully accountable at the ballot box. When roads go unrepaired, developments are pushed through, or taxpayers are spent unwisely, Auburn's voice must filter through its council members to an appointed manager who never has to face on election day. Recent citizen surveys show satisfaction with transparency and public involvement remains disturbingly low. Hearings and surveys are helpful, but they're no substitute for real power. The truth is clear. Both the old mayor council system and today's council mayor system leaves ordinary citizens with only weak indirect control. In 1980, reform solved one set of problems and created another. Real citizens control requires our constant vigilance, strong voter turnout, and leaders willing to reclaim power from unelected insiders. Maybe it's time for Mayor Anders or Council Sonny Mormon to have a real competition. Citizens first. Thank you.
And I am here today representing the NAACP Lee County Branch 5038. And why I am here today is because I want to publicly put it on record to express the disappointment of the Lee County NAACP for the police chief Michael Harris not attending our all-important law enforcement town hall discussion that we had. So last month, we had an event that was called Partners in Protection. And it was built on the tagline that we've been using for the past few years. It's called CPR, advocating for CPR in our community because CPR saves lives. CPR is community, police, and relationships. And this is important to us because the NAACP are firm believers that CPR matters and that we must have a relationship with law enforcement so that we can work together collectively to ensure that we have safe communities. So this event is not a new event. We've had it since 2023. This was an outcome of the Tyree Nichols case. And we had this session in Lee County so that we could make sure that we did not exhibit or see the same thing that we had thought occurred in Memphis. At our events for the past 3 years, we have had the Lee County Sheriff, we have had the Chief of Police from Auburn, and the Chief of Police from Opelika. This year, we also added the district attorney because we know that the district attorney works heavily with the police department. And as we have had some issues with officer-involved shootings recently, the district attorney was a good addition to our program because it was an opportunity for us to learn and be informed because we know that an informed and a knowledgeable community is a better community. So with that said, we just want to say that community and police relationships matter. And it is important because they build trust and they can transform residents from bystanders and partners, and that combined, we can work together to collectively have a safe community. So I'm just saying this to say that we were disappointed. And although I had a wonderful meeting with the chief on this past Thursday, I believe he is well equipped for the job. He is going to do great things in our community. However, I just want to encourage you as city council members, city management, to understand the importance of allowing our city officials to come out and to be a part of our community. And although we do a lot of things that the community sponsors themselves and the city sponsors themselves, we just talked about Cops on Top, and we talk about coffee with, I think it's coffee with a cop. Mm-hmm. Those things are great, but we ask that you also consider that across the board, that when others ask, that everyone considers us as well. Thank you.
Well, I do want to say that yes, I did attend the meeting that Letitia is talking about. It's very informative, and one of the reasons why I did attend is because I was, had never met the new chief of police for Auburn, and so I was hoping that he was going to be there. So, and there was probably more people from Auburn there than Opelika. And so I think all of us was, eager to hear comments and that type of stuff. So it was rather disappointing for him not to be there. I don't know what the reasoning was, and maybe we can talk about the reasoning or whatever, but I just think it's really important, as she says, we got the sheriff with Opelika chief of police, Auburn chief of police, and the district attorney, and there was a lot of information that people really could have learned from, and it was very, very informative.
Mayor, due to unforeseen circumstances, Chief Harris had to cancel the Friday prior to the event. He did not cancel the day of the event. And we did not have a staff member available based on other obligations of the department in the moment at that time. And that it was not anyone's intent to not participate. It was an unfortunate circumstance. As Letitia pointed out, they have since met. We will do what we can from a scheduling standpoint. The further out we know, the more we can prepare for a backup plan. I can say with police, as with anything, something could happen. Unfortunately, even if he had been not had something else come up, we had a shooting that day, and none of our staff would have been available to attend anyway based on the then circumstances. So we will continue to work with the NAACP Lee County branch on these things and try to plan further in advance. But once in a while, some things come up that are beyond the control. And I know the chief is committed to a lot of wonderful things, and he will do a great job. And I'm glad that he and Letitia met and have had a relationship. And moving forward, we'll continue to try to work on that and participate as best that we can. But once in a great while, we can lay the best plans, but circumstances happen.
How much I support Chief Harris. He's a hometown Auburn guy, and he's been with us a long time. Started off here at the police department, worked in the 90s as a patrolman, did some good work, and went to the FBI for 20 years, and then we managed to get him back. So I'm excited about having him in that position, and I would encourage any of our citizens that would like to meet him, come by his office and make an appointment, come by and see him, or whenever. I think since you've met him, you probably know he's a good guy as well. I've heard good things about you as well, meeting with him. So I just would appreciate anybody in the community who wants to meet him, come out and get his, because he can only serve what he knows. He's got to get the thoughts of the community, and I feel like we need to build those bridges before we need them. So I think we're heading in the right direction. Chief Harris is a definite professional, and we're very fortunate to have him here in Auburn.
Thank you, Chief.
Margaret Thatcher, in a 1980s speech on the nature of political power, quote, "When politics ceases to be about people, then it is solely about power. In this process, political power becomes unresponsive to public needs. The leaders of government become cocooned in a world of their own. Such isolation leads to an arbitrary government, to insensitivity, to an arrogance of power. They become oblivious to the needs and daily anxieties of the people." Citizens' questions. Margot asks, "The city council and the city management team sure patted themselves on the back after winning 3 different awards concerning the city financial records. It seemed to be rather excessive." Well, Margot, here's about 2 minutes of the 6 minutes.
We're proud today to introduce you to our finance team, and I have a memorandum here from the city manager, Megan Crouch. The City of Auburn was recently awarded the Government Finance Officers Association, or GFOA, Triple Crown Award, which recognizes governments that have received the following 3 prestigious financial awards within the same year: the Certificate of Excellence for Excellence in Financial Reporting, the Popular Annual Financial Reporting Award, and the Distinguished Budget Presentation Award.
Reading the legacy that is a part of good financial reporting that our city's participated in for a long time. And I don't know, and generally, how do we continue to be successful? What's the secret?
Recruitment, staffing, so very important there, and that not just me as the present finance director, but as you notice, the number of years we've won this award, it's our predecessors. It's continuing that legacy of making sure that we're doing the right thing and things are presented to our citizens so they know what's going on.
That's just an amazing accomplishment. Triple crown, I guess, 3 awards. That's a phenomenal achievement, and I just really recognize your staff, Allison, and what they do, and appreciate, for me, the transparency at which these documents are presented to our public, our citizens. It's easy to understand. The data is very consumable, and it's a lot of effort. It's a lot of effort. Time goes into it, and we realize that, and I appreciate the way that you guys present that.
That you put it into layman's term for the average stakeholder to understand. And it's really, I'm a visual person, so the fact that we can have this for our citizens to pick up, which is the popular annual financial report that I would think they could get at City Hall and or
Correct.
find online.
Both.
Yes, so I mean, what a great document. Flipping through it initially, it just highlights all the things. And so I appreciate the fact that we not only do a great job on the numbers, but also put it in a format that people can comprehend. So thank you.
I agree, it was excessive. I wish those awards had been given out by citizens of Auburn or citizens of Alabama for making it an easy and providing public records request documents as requested, or listening to citizens without downplaying their concerns, or city council and the management team caring about citizens' issue, and so much, much more. That would really be incredible awards. Please make comments on Citizens Minutes by going to nextdoor.com or youtube.com. Your counsel is only as good as the information that you gather.
While five of
Ms.
your fellow
Bolt, you are
councilmen
done.
care to
Ms.
protect the
Bolt,
Constitution
you
and
are
property
done.
rights.
And I don't know what qualifies you to make the decision, the police department needs this or too aggressive, whatever. I don't know where your qualifications come from.
Claiming that their rights were being violated. And I take my job very seriously.
Become a danger zone for Americans who still
Point
cherish.
of order, Mr. Mayor. Our library is not dangerous at all.
It is morally dangerous.
They do not want citizens' input. They just want our money.